The Washington Wizards finally did it. They traded Bradley Beal. We are now over a month removed from the Washington Wizards parting ways with their star two-guard as the franchise this offseason has finally fully committed to a rebuild. Many criticized the return they got for the three-time All-Star Beal, who practically got to choose his trade destination with his no-trade clause, but nonetheless, I believe they did the right thing. In today's video, we will be looking into the Washington Wizards finally embarking on a full rebuild of their squad this offseason, what to expect from them next year, and what the future holds for a franchise with now one of the youngest squads in the league. The first move, obviously, was the Beal deal. Now in this deal they gave up Jordan Goodwin, someone who was a rotation player for Washington last season, and Isaiah Todd as well as Beal, and in return got Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, 6 second-round picks, and 4 pick swaps. They then traded Paul to Golden State for Jordan Poole, Ryan Rollins, Patrick Baldwin Jr., a second, and a first-round pick in 2030. While the initial reaction of many was that Washington did a poor job on the Beal deal, they ended up getting off the remaining 4 years and $208 million on Beal's deal, acquiring 7 second-round picks and 4 pick swaps, along with 2 unproven young guys who didn't play much in their rookie years in Rollins and Patrick Baldwin Jr., who could pop with more playing time in Washington, as well as Jordan Poole, someone who is coming off a poor year and is on a questionable contract, but nonetheless, he is someone who is a key cog on a championship team at just 22 years old, and even though last year some would say was poor, and I would agree with that, he still put up 20 a night for a playoff team last year. So overall, cap relief, a slew of seconds, pick swaps, and some possible young pieces doesn't sound too bad to me for a 30-year-old guard on a supermax deal with a no-trade clause. The next domino fell when the Wizards dealt their other former All-Star, Kristaps Porzingis. In a deal with the Celtics, they sent Porzingis, who was coming off one of the best years of his career, away to Boston in a 3-team trade where Memphis received Marcus Smart and Washington received Tyus Jones, Danilo Gallinari, Mike Muscala, and the 35th pick for Porzingis and a 2024 protected Warriors pick. Now this trade I wasn't a huge fan of. They gave up Porzingis, someone entering his prime coming off a relatively healthy season where he averaged 23, 8, and 3 on 50, 38, 85 splits, and a first-round pick that will likely convey as it is only top 4 protected for Tyus Jones, who is a nice player and all, but he's a role player that is significantly worse than Porzingis and the same age as him. So it's not like you're getting a young guy in return who could get better. Tyus Jones, we know what he is. He's a solid player. And along with him, Mike Muscala and Danilo Gallinari really don't hold much value. Porzingis did have a player option though for $35 million this summer, and he may have declined it if they did not deal him. And Jones is still a very solid point guard to put around a young team, so I didn't love this deal, but it wasn't the worst thing ever, and there was a good chance Porzingis would have left anyways, so you get a solid vet point guard to put around your rebuilding team, and a second round pick as well. Now moving on to the draft. In the draft, the Wizards started the night with a number 8 overall pick and traded up a spot to pick Bilal Coulibaly, the 18-year-old French wing who is teammates with the number 1 pick Victor Wembanyama. They also selected Tristan Vukovic, a Serbian big with some ball handling and shooting flashes in the second round. Now for Washington, I didn't mind the Coulibaly pick because it's definitely more of a swing than some of their past picks like Johnny Davis and Corey Kispert. And I think Washington really needed to take one entering this rebuild. Coulibaly is very raw, but has the tools to be a high-level defender with his length and mobility, and has some really intriguing flashes on offense as well with his driving and finishing, as well as his shooting, which he did shoot well, but it was on very low volume. He most definitely has a ways to go, but he's a player that if things go right, he could be really good. Not just decent or solid like a guy like Kispert is, and hopefully Johnny Davis can reach that level for the Wizards. But Coulibaly is someone with a very apparent high ceiling, and he just turned 19, so young, and he's got a shot at least to be a really good two-way player. The last major move of Washington's offseason was bringing back Kyle Kuzma. Now, there isn't much to say about this. I thought it was fine. He's a good scorer and rebounder at the 4 and gives Washington a capable bucket getter on a team that projects to have very few on their squad for this upcoming season. He's a solid piece. He's tradable. I have no problem with them bringing back Kyle Kuzma. Now, looking at what a potential opening night rotation for this team could look like, I think they'd likely be going into the season with a starting 5 of Tyus Jones, Jordan Poole, Kispert, Kuzma, and Daniel Gafford. And then on the bench for the second unit, some things need to be figured out in terms of how much you are going to prioritize playing young guys. But on that bench, you have for your guards, DeLon Wright, Landry Shamet, and Johnny Davis. And then for your wings, you have Koulibaly, Avdia, possibly Gallinari. And for your bigs, you have Tristan, Vukovic, and Mike Muscala. Now, Avdia is someone who could start. He's a very good defender at his position. But overall, if you look at this team, the bottom line is they're not going to be good. And I think that's a good thing for Washington. 2 straight 35 and 47 seasons are really getting you nowhere, and they are the definition, or they were the definition, of a team being stuck in NBA purgatory, and this team is going to be flat out bad. And they might even be my pick to be the worst team in the league, which is a great thing for Washington. They should be bad. They've been stuck in limbo for too long, and they finally enter a rebuild here. This year will be used for mainly developmental purposes and getting a good pick. And Washington this year can find out which one of the guys such as Poole, Kispert, Gafford, Avdia, Davis, really flesh out of the guys they have, which one are real pieces moving forward for us and which ones can we carry further along into this rebuild. Overall though, if I was a Wizards fan, I'd be encouraged by the franchise finally starting to take the right steps in what will be a long road back to contention. Something many of their fans haven't seen their entire lifetime, and really you could say in their time as the Washington Wizards and not the Bullets, the fans really have never seen at all. It will be interesting to see which guys on this team can become real pieces moving forward and which ones will fall short. But nonetheless, the Wizards seem like a near lock to be a bottom 5 team in the league this year, and that's what's best for them moving forward. Comment below your thoughts on the Wizards offseason. I thank y'all for watching as always, and peace out.